What should be a regular stop for the number 7 Bentley. The young Yorkshireman richly deserves this chance to be leading Le Mans. Glorious sunset over the south as dusk begins to fall at Le Mans.
Hello and welcome to another video. With a certain 24-hour virtual race happening this week, and I really got into the Le Mans spirit of things, so we're going to be checking out this Bradley Project 8 mod from the guys over at VRC. So the sun is setting here at Le Mans. We've just jumped into the car for our stint. We're waiting for the mechanics to fill it up with fuel, and this is the Bradley Project 8, or the Bentley Speed 8, basically, as what it's based on. And you'll see there we've got an Audi in as mirrors. We're fighting him for the lead of the race, and he's refueling as well, and he's just beat us out the pits as we get the green light to go. So we go chasing after the Audi for the lead of Le Mans as the sun goes down. It doesn't get much better than this. But we'll talk about the Bentley Speed 8 real quick. It was only really a Bentley in name. It was run by Team Jost, who ran the Audi teams, basically ran the Audi cars at Le Mans for a couple of years, and Bentley were part of the Volkswagen group along with Audi. The engine in the car was basically an Audi engine, so it were only really a Bentley in name, but I don't care, it's cool. But we'll talk about the mod then, and I think the first place to start is the sounds. Now those exterior sounds are awesome. You can really hear that beefy, I think it was a twin turbo V8 that these cars had. It doesn't come across as much in the cockpit, but then again I think it is quite hard to recreate just how raw and throaty and brutal these engines sound if you listen to an onboard of this car. But we've got a bit of a run on the Audi as we go side by side into the second chicane down the Mulsanne straight. We'll be hitting nearly 200 miles an hour as we brake quite early. We're still on cold tyres, so we're gonna need to be careful here as we can go chasing back after the Audi once again. But this being Le Mans, there is going to be traffic, of course, and speaking of which, here's one of the first cars we're going to be making us way past. It looks like one of the Porsches racing in the GT class. Two GT classes in 2003 at Le Mans. You had the GTS class, which turned into, it became the GT1 class, the cars we looked at last week, and there was just the GT class, which I think was running the NGT regulations. But yeah, we make our way past the Porsche, and we can go chasing back after this Audi as we get a decent run coming into the last section of the track. There's only one line through here, so we have to lift off a little bit. We're going to look to the inside. We're not really close enough to make a move though, but you can see we've got plenty more traffic ahead, so we can afford to be a bit patient here, see how the Audi copes with that. But as we come out the last corner, we're actually going to get a pretty solid run out of there compared to the Audi. So we'll look to the inside as we go side by side into T1. We're going to take an early apex, let the car drift out wide a little bit, then get on the brakes and hold the inside for the chicane. It's going to turn to the outside on the exit, which is going to give us the better traction, and there we go, we get past the Audi. But it's not over yet as we still have some traffic to get past. It looks like one of the lower LMP class cars in front of us. Three classes of prototypes in this year of Le Mans. You had the Audi and a couple of others running in LMP 900. Then you had the LMP 675 class, which became the LMP2 class in the year after, and the Bentley was running in LMGTP class. So it's kind of a hybrid between a GT car and a prototype, but for all intents and purposes it's a prototype. The very next year actually, the LMP 900s and LMGTP classes both combined to become the LMP1 class that's kind of stuck for many years after, and the LMP 675s became the LMP2 class, with the numbers actually I believe were in relation to the minimum weight. So LMP 900 having a minimum weight of 900 kilograms and LMP 675 having 675 kilograms minimum weight. But we overtake a GTS Corvette there. That's the C5, and it looks like it's just going to hold us up a little bit through that corner. And while we did pull away from the Audi, you can see those headlights in those mirrors, and that's going to let him regain on us, getting the better exit on the straight as we come into, I think, the Mulsanne kink. But towards the end of the lap, we're going to have another car to overtake, another LMP 675. We have gapped the Audi a little bit. Now, there's no point trying to overtake this car on the brakes with it being lighter. It's actually probably just as quick, if not quicker, through the corners than us. So we wait for the exit of the corner, we can get the power down. I think a GTS Ferrari off there, not a GTS, it were a GTN Ferrari off there, so not sure what happened to him, but it's not going to affect our race as we overtake that LMP 675, and a couple more cars to go then in front of us. And I absolutely love this vibe here at dusk as the sun comes down. And we're going to have a GTS Celine to overtake now then. But he's just going to hold us up just a little bit. We're going to try and go through here, but we get a wheel on the grass and there's only one line through that corner. A little bit kind of jittery as we nearly lose the rear. But we're going to try and overtake him here a bit early on the brakes. We're going to get a little bit of a switchback, but he just comes across and gives us a bump off track there, and all of a sudden, if you look in those mirrors, that Audi's back, so the battle is not over yet. But down the start-finish straight, we're going to be able to get past. And of course, now the Audi's going to have to deal with that Celine. And if he treats the Audi like he treats us, we might be able to pull away a little bit here as we come through the first kind of chicane. We've got another car up ahead of us. I think that's another GTS. So. Yeah, the Celine probably being quite aggressive, not wanting to lose time to his rival up ahead. I think it's the Ferrari 550, I believe. This is running in GTS class with its V12 engine, a very awesome sounding car. As we're going to pull ahead, alongside, and we'll be able to get a nice listen to that. Very nice, with its headlights blind us, but we have a bit of clean air now. So we can go ahead and try and see what sort of lap time we can do, as it's getting very dark now and the sun almost all the way down, as we have an LMP 675 pulling into the pits ahead of us. But let's see what sort of lap time we can do. It'll give us a chance to talk a little bit more about the mod as well. So we come across the line to start as lap. I think the qualifying time for this car was a 3:32.8, if I remember rightly, when I looked it up the other day, so I don't think we're going to get anywhere near as close as that, our best lap being a 3:41.5. I think we should aim for maybe a sub 3:40. I think that's manageable as we carry on into the night at Le Mans, lapping this amazing Bentley Speed 8. It does feel really, really good. You can feel kind of all the different elements of the car working together in the way it handles. It's really, really a joy to drive. I could quite happily sit and drive a 4-hour stint in this car, and plenty of setup options as well. I'm running pretty much from baseline setup. Adjusted the brake bias slightly and lowered the brake pressure. It's a bit hard to get the braking right without a load cell pedal on this car, but we look for the brake marker boards. There's 200, about 150. Slam on into the first chicane, and you'll see on my braking input there, as you'll probably see it in the next braking zone, because these cars have so much aero, these prototype cars. What you got to be careful of is, as you slow down, the aero kind of washes off as there's less air going over it to push the car to the ground. So you kind of have to roll off the brakes as the car slows down. You'll see it here. Looking for that 100 board, just roll off the brakes and get the car turned in, and basically it helps stop the rears locking. Because of that aero washing off, it's quite easy to lock the rears as the car slows down and the rear lifts back up with the aero washing off. But yeah, you can really kind of feel that in this car, so they've done a really, really good job with that. You'll see it again here, hard on the brakes, just peel off. And as we go around the corner, you kind of see the car twitch a little bit there, and that was actually the diff locking up. So you kind of roll on the power a little bit, the rear end rotates slightly, and then you feel the diff lock and it launches you out the corner. So they've done a really good job with the handling of this car. Like I say, you can feel all the different elements coming together. As you go on the brakes, you feel the downforce wash off and the mechanical grip take over as we go around. I think this is Indianapolis. You see here, just roll on the power there and let that differential and the mechanical grip take over into this really tight right-hander. And I forget the name of that corner actually. It's a pretty famous one. Is it Rabac? Is it? No, that's on a different. No, that's from Monaco, not Le Mans. Anyway, me forgetting track names aside, let's go into the Porsche curves, and this is where you really feel the kind of the downforce of the car. You just tap on the brakes, chuck it in, look for that first curb. Don't hit the curb, or otherwise it'll launch the car off. But you can really commit the car through these two left-handers. Another little tap on the brakes as you throw it from left to right, go around the right-hander. Another little tap on the brakes. It's off camber going up that corner, so you do get a lot of understeer, so you've got to be a little bit careful. But we're going to come into this final section, these last couple of chicanes, and we made quite a bit of time on the Delta there as we come round the final corner. Let's see what lap time we can do. We want a sub 340, and by half a tenth of a second. Fantastic stuff. I'd love to see what some of the esports guys who are taking part in the 24-hour virtual could do with this car, but for us that's probably about as good as I'll ever get. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I'll leave the mod linked in the description if you want to check it out. It is a pay mod. It's only a couple of euros though, I think, so it's nothing too expensive, and it's definitely worth it, I think. But yeah, thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one.